Hello, my name is Kate Harries. To hell with the notes. I'm going to speak from here. I was going to make a kind of a party political broadcast giving you a manifesto of my plans if I was to take over this country. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of my life, and then maybe you'll understand why I feel the need to change the way this country is being run. Because this country has taken us all for bloody fools. They're all robbing us. But anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. The most important thing is that in 1988, my husband didn't like the way that Thatcher was running the government and the way we lost money personally from it. I wasn't as politically aware at that time. I was too busy bringing up 3 children and running a business. But my husband just couldn't accept the way Thatcher was making such huge economic mistakes and the way everybody was suffering from it. So he sued her. I thought he was crazy, actually. I mean, I think, how the hell do you sue the British government? But he sued her, and he got to 2 stages of the case, and he was about to go to the 3rd stage when one of his businesses was set alight. And that was the end of my husband for a while. And it made our lives very difficult. But like my husband, I'm strong. My father used to tell me I was at war with the world when I was about 12, and I think he was right. But I'm strong, as is my husband strong. So I carried on fighting through that terrible time. So the fact is that I thought, as I said, my husband was crazy to think of suing the British government, the establishment. I couldn't understand it, but I went along with him. And as I said, you know, it left us in a pretty bad state of repair. But as I said earlier, we got over it. It took us a long time, but we built other businesses and we survived because we're entrepreneurs. I was born with nothing. I've made money all my life. That's something I'm good at. I'm very good at it. Now, I've just built up my 4th business, my 4th large business, overcoming my 4th recession. And suddenly, there's another one. And I'm fed up with it. And I've begun studying the particular economics of this country. I've realised that they're running this country down into the ground. There's not one amongst them who understand economics, who understand how housekeeping, who understand how to manage the money so that this country can run. And they're running us into the ground. I mean, I read recently that one of the politicians wanted to give one of his relatives a job. And he hadn't had any training, any business training. So they shelled out £15,000 to give this boy business training so he could take a job and decide on where our income tax goes. Well, it's not good enough. It takes years to understand economics. It takes years to understand how to handle money and how to invest rightly, how to use your money rightly. Any of you who are housekeepers know how to handle money. We housewives know how to handle money, and if we do it well, we'll always save a little bit. I was one of 10 children, and my mother used to handle her money, and she was never short of money, because she knew how to manage money. But this country doesn't know how to manage the money, and I think it's about time somebody like me, and like-minded people, should start telling this government how to handle the money. So for all the crazy things, have decided that I'm going to become an independent MP. I'm going to set up as an independent MP, and if anybody wants to join me, they can join my party. I was thinking of a name like the Logic Party, because this party will be run on logic, you know. If it's not logical to keep MPs employed who have just robbed you of hundreds of thousands, then sack them. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, is logic. These young MPs, or all the MPs, are robbing us blind. They're fiddling their expenses. It's not so much the fiddling of the expenses, it's making you wonder, how can they be concentrating on their jobs if they're worried about their fiddles and their newspaper expose? Who's doing the job? Nobody's doing the job. Have you ever seen them in Parliament? Now, this is a kind of a revolutionary party as well, because we're going to go up against everything that this party stands for, everything that the Conservative Party stands for, everything that the Liberal Party stands for, because they don't stand for much. They stand for themselves. I doubt any of them have actually gone into the job and thought, I want to help the people. Well, I do want to help the people, but I don't want to be on my own in this fight. It's going to take more than one person. It's going to take more than one person to make this country aware that the people that are running this country are not adequately educated. And I'm not talking about Cambridge or Oxford. I'm talking about the education of life. The education someone like Alan Sugar has, because he's run businesses, he's survived, he started from nothing. I mean, if you can do that, you should be able to run a business. I don't know how much money is left in this country. Very little, I would think. But the thing is, that little that's left should be saved. But, you know, whatever is left, or whatever we owe, we're going to have to start finding ways of paying it back. And in this country, we have collateral. And there are ways to get this country working again, get this country back on its feet again. I come from a very working class, poor background, you know, and I know what it's like to be poor. I also know what it's like to be rich. And I also know that I was just as happy being both. But that's no consolation to the people who are on the streets. I intend to start thinking of human beings in this country. You know, I'm a humanitarian, and I will start examining the cases of the unjust way that people are being treated in this country, you know, and the way people are being ignored, the way people aren't being given counselling. I'm a counsellor myself, and a very good one. You know, if everybody could have counselling, then it would help especially this younger generation of people, because the only one without a problem is dead, and there's nobody for young people to talk to anymore. I would employ more teachers, good teachers, bring back the old ones if necessary. I would employ matrons in the hospitals again, once again, to stop the hospitals looking like tips. I would have the old roll a penny on the bed test to see that the whole bed was made smoothly. Systems. Good way of running things. I would begin to look into the ridiculous prices that the drug companies are charging for drugs for things like cancer, and our National Health Service has to pay for it. There is too much of a monopoly on drugs, and I would look into that. So I want people to help me, either set up as an independent for my party in your own area, or help promote me. I need accountants, I need lawyers, I need anyone who thinks that they've got the strength to help me. I need workers like we used to work, you know, because people don't seem to work the way they do now. I want envelope fillers. I need people, probably older people, retired people, because you've all retired too early, although I do believe that the retirement age shouldn't be altered. But, you know, you have energy, you have time on your hands, so maybe you're the market of people who could help me. Because there are many things that we have to do in this country. We have to give this country back standards. The standards have gone right down the drains. So I want to start educating the younger people. I want to start educating the younger girls that they aren't. I mean, children are having children at 14. Children are having children. So what are they offering to this particular world? You know, there aren't many people around with many brains, and nobody bothers to vote anyway. And somebody has to start getting rid of these public school idiots. And I don't generalise, but I don't know really any that are quite intelligent. None have reared their head as far as I'm concerned. So that is me. I hope that you've enjoyed my speech. I've never spoken in public before, so forgive me if my oratory was a bit off the wall, but I will get better, because when I realise that I have a job to do, which includes speaking, I will work on that, because I'm a damn good worker. And as I said earlier, I need workers. I need people to help me. The people who realise that this country is in dire need, the people who realise that it's being run on every side by idiots. I need those people, not just to continue to complain, but to do something about it with me. Let's get together. Let's start a party. Let's go into Parliament ourselves. It's not difficult. People think it's difficult, but it's not. So anybody who's interested in me, you have my email address, and I look forward to hearing from you. But don't give me any bull. Thank you.